Hey everyone, it's Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I share 8 spring and Easter Cricut projects that I just had so much fun creating. I hope this video gives you some crafting inspiration. I'd love to hear which project was your favorite and let me know what you've been creating this year. For my first project, I found these adorable Peep tumblers. They are the Zach brand, which is a really good brand, and I found it at the Target Bullseye section for $3 each. I picked these up for my kids' Easter baskets. My son just turned 9, so he's probably too old for it, but I still got it for him. And my daughters are 5 and 1, which I think they will love it. I picked up this adhesive vinyl bundle from 143vinyl.com. It's just the perfect spring bundle. All the colors are very bright and colorful, so I am excited to use this for a lot of my projects today. All of these are StarCraft HD, which is a permanent vinyl, and it's such great quality. I really love it. I'll grab my font first, and the font I'm using is JT Grove. Then I'm just going to type in my kids' names. I'm also going to go to images, and I am going to grab an image for the back of the Peep. And I'm going to have it say chillin' with my peeps, which I thought was really cute. I like the vinyl colors here, but the only one I'm going to change is I want to make the bunny orange instead of green. What I'll do is just click on the bunny layer, then I'll come up here and switch it to orange. I'm going to make Josh blue, and I'll make it the same color blue as this one. And for Quinn and Emmy, I'm going to make it pink. My names are going to be 2.25 for the width, so I'll just type that in here. This image will be 2.5 inches for my width. Since I'm going to be making 3 of these, the way I'm going to do it is hide all the names. Then I'll click Make It. I am going to change my project copies to 3 and hit apply. Then I'll go back and cut out the names separately. As you can see here, it'll separate each map by color, so I will click continue. I'll select vinyl for my cut setting, and I'll just follow what the computer says, so I will load my orange vinyl in the Cricut machine first. Here I'm having the Cricut just cut out all the different colors. While that's done, I will hide this one, then I'll come down and unhide all of my names. I find this the easiest way to do it. Now it is just cutting out the names. Now I'm ready to just weed out all of my vinyl. I'll be adding these Peep tumblers to my kids' Easter baskets. If you have kids, what do you like to put in their Easter baskets? I always like to do summer things like swimsuits, sunglasses, chalk, bubbles, and things like that. Of course, I always add candy in there as well. I spray my tumbler with rubbing alcohol first just to clean it. Then I grab my transfer paper and apply it to the vinyl. Then I add my vinyl to the tumbler. I use the same transfer tape to add my other names to the tumbler. I love reusing the transfer tape because it saves on material and saves on the cost of buying the transfer tape. I like the look of having the same color vinyl on the blank. It looks super cool, but I feel like this one was a little too close. These blues match pretty well, so it made it a little hard to see it. Moving on to the back, I add peeps first, and then I try to line everything else up, and I did not line it up well at all, so you'll see how I messed it up here in a second. I decided to add the bunny to the transfer tape and tried to add it to but my transfer tape wasn't long enough, so I went on to where it says chillin' and added that. Then I added my bunny and my M, then I added my Y. So after this, you can see how the L has an indent and the bunny ear is supposed to connect that indent. I have the bunny layered, as you can see, so I have a better approach with the next tumbler, and I'll show you how I did that. I add my Peeps vinyl first, then I add my bunny. I look on my computer to kind of see where it's supposed to go. Then I line up the rest of my wording around the bunny, so that was by far the best way to do this. It looks so much better, and here's what the blue tumbler looks like. Thankfully, the first one, my daughter will not care whatsoever if it is not lined up. Next, I'm going to use a Cricut Design Space project. I don't really use these that often, but I saw these candy egg holders and I thought they were just so cute. I had a hard time deciding between the bunnies over here and the two ducks, but I decided to do this duck candy egg holder. I do go in and hit customize because for some reason they don't have everything set up correctly, which I find kind of weird. I'm going to ungroup everything. I have the duck feet, which are cut files, which looks good. Then I have the pen, and for some reason it is set to a cut file, so I am going to switch it to pen. And I also need to make sure that the pen is attached to its beak, which is right here. So I'm just going to hit shift on my keyboard, select both of those, and hit attach. Also, coming down here, there's two lines. Those are supposed to be score lines to help you fold the duck, but it's set to a cut for file for some reason too. So I will come down and select score for those. And I need to attach it to this whole entire duck. So I am just going to hit shift on my keyboard and hit attach. I'm going to move this to the side so you can see this a little bit easier, but here I have this cut file and we have the score lines attached. I also have the duck's feet, that's going to get cut out. I have the duck's beak, which is a cut file, and the pen is attached to it. And I also have this, which is surprisingly set up correctly because it's already attached and the eyes are set to a pen. I just did that super fast, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to click Make It. I also keep it the size that Cricut has in there because it's a perfect size. It's going to do the white one first, and over on the side it'll say pen and basic cut so you know what you'll need. And here we have the pen and cut, and here we will have the score and cut. And I'm using all cardstock for these files. I'm going to select medium cardstock. I'm using 65 cardstock, but I find that the medium cardstock setting works the best for me. And down here, it tells me to load my black pen and have my fine point blade selected. Cricut Design Space makes it pretty easy to show you what cardstock it's starting with and what you need to load in your machine. Once the first two are done, with this one it's telling me to load my single scoring wheel in clamp B. Once that's done, you don't want to unload the machine because you'll need to switch it to the fine point blade to cut it out. I'm using the Recollections brand of cardstock from Michaels. It's by far my favorite. I add my black Cricut pen into the slot, then I load my white cardstock. One thing about this is it colored in the eyes, and I always have troubles having the pen do that, so I'm not sure how it did that. Next, the Cricut will draw on the beak and cut it out as well as the feet. I've already added my yellow cardstock, and here I'm switching out my fine point blade for my scoring wheel. It'll make those two score lines, then I will replace it back with my fine point blade. You can see me filming it on my phone for a short. Do you guys prefer the shorts or the YouTube videos? I feel like I'm getting less views on my videos, and it might be because of the shorts. Here's all my cardstock pieces, and I'm using Barely Art Glue to glue it together. This is my favorite glue. I buy it off of Amazon. But first I'm going to add my white piece to my yellow piece. While the glue is still wet, I kind of move the white piece around until it's lined up perfectly. Then I add the duck feet. I'm missing the ultra fine tip that this glue comes with, and I desperately need it because I added way too much glue. So I think I'm going to have to see if I can buy just the tip on Amazon. I try to get a little less glue on the other foot, and I think it was a little bit better. After that, I glue the duck's beak and add that to its face. Next, I bend my score lines and I'm ready to add my Cadbury egg. The egg fits so perfectly in this duck, so that is the one that I would purchase, even though it was $1.20 for just this one little egg. Is that how much they normally are, or is it more expensive than previous years? To finish it off, I just add glue to the top of the duck and press it together. This was so easy to do, and look how stinking cute this is. It might be my favorite project. I think it is so adorable. Moving on to my next project, I found this garland at the Dollar Tree. They had eggs, bunnies, and carrots, and I just thought it was so cute. I've never seen this before, so I feel like it might be new this year, but I don't know for sure. What I love about this is the string is really long, so it makes it where you can put this on somewhere like a fireplace, or I'll be putting it on my daughter's acrylic bookshelf, which is pretty small, so I think that's really nice. The project is BFC Blueberry Cobble. I found this on Etsy. I believe it's a handwritten font, and it's just really cute. So I'm going to type in happy. Then I'll grab a separate font and type in Easter. For my garland, each letter is going to go on a separate piece. So happy is going to go on the bunny garland, and the H is going to go on the first bunny, and so on. Then each letter of Easter is going to go on the eggs. Each piece of the garland is a different color. So what I'm going to do is match each letter with that same color. First, I'm going to ungroup happy. Then I'll come down and ungroup Easter. I'll have all my letters separate. Then I'm going to go in and just change the colors of these to match the garland colors. This last one, the color is black, but I just felt like that didn't look good, so I am going to make the vinyl be white. Now I want to size the letters. The bunnies are a little bit smaller, so for happy, I'm going to make each letter 1.5 inches for my height, and for Easter, it's going to be 1.75 inches for the height. So I will just change those now. Okay, I have all of these changed. As you can see, the height for these letters is 1.5, and the height for the Easter letters is 1.75. I'll select vinyl for my cut setting, and I will just start with the white vinyl sheet first, and then I will just go from there. I'm using all the same vinyl pieces from the bundle except for the green because I thought the green was a little too dark. Next, I just weed out all the letters, and I just love this font. It's super fun. It's a perfect kid font. I will link all my fonts down in my description box. Now I'm ready to add each letter, and once again, I reuse the transfer tape for all of them. I remove the last bunny since I don't need that, then I add the letters to the Easter eggs. Here's what it looks like on my daughter's shelves, and it's just such an inexpensive way to decorate and just make her room look super cute. For my next project, I'm making acrylic tags for my kids' Easter basket, but these can make really cute gift tags if you are giving an Easter or spring gift as well. These have a protective cover on each side, so I remove just the first side. I use my pin tool to help me pull it off. These are the paint colors I'm using. Apple Barrel paint from Walmart is by far my favorite acrylic paint, and it's very affordable. I just love it. I just start painting my acrylic. I love the blue paint brushes that I'm using here. I buy them from Michael's, and they are my go-to. They don't leave any of the bristles in the paint. They're just really great. It's easy to get paint on the edge of the acrylic, so what I like to do is take a baby wipe and just remove the paint that way. After that, I paint my other acrylic with purple, and when I'm done with that, I was going to do this orange color, but I didn't like it at all, so I grabbed this blue acrylic paint. I think I bought this at Joann's, and it's not that great. I do not like it, but it worked for my project. For this font, I am using BFC Sleepy Student, I think is what it's called. These acrylic bunnies are pretty tiny, so the height is going to be 0.5. I actually might make it just the tiniest bit bigger. I think that looks good. I'll click Make It. For this one, I definitely want to use the washi sheet setting. It really makes a huge difference. These are so tiny and it's a script font, so I recommend that if you have really, really tiny fonts. I add my vinyl to the mat, then the Cricut will cut it out. Once it's done with that, I just weed out the vinyl. Once my paint was dry, I go in and add a second layer of paint. Once that second layer of paint dries, I add Mod Podge just to make sure the paint won't chip at all. You can see how it kind of looks glossy and filmy here, but it dries clear. You can see the other side I have paint on the back. That's why I leave the protective cover on that side before I add my vinyl. I spray it with rubbing alcohol to clean it, then I add my vinyl. It's hard to tell on camera, but this vinyl is so small, so I lost my dot to the eye, so I go back in and add that later. I'm using chiffon ribbon. This ribbon is so pretty. I buy it off Amazon. I did a terrible job of cutting it. I need to buy some new scissors. But as you can see, the hole is on one of the ears on the right and the other one on the left. So you kind of want to check that, so mine are opposite, but I preferred the purple one having it on the left. Here's how these turned out. I think they are just super, super cute. For my next project, I found this adorable glass rain boot from the Target Bullseye section. It was $3 and it says for decorative purposes only, so I am going to put some faux flowers in it. I have my font and my flower uploaded for this project. My font is Black Rose. I'm going to type in Hello Spring. My flower, I'm going to be replacing it with the dot to the eye. I thought that would look really cute. So I'll change Hello Spring to the same color as the flower. I'm also going to size this. I'm going to make it 2 inches for the height. And I'll zoom in a little bit more. I want to bring my line spacing together a little bit. Now I'm just going to make my flower smaller and make it kind of fit over this eye. I'm going to switch this, basically bring the flower to the front. I think that looks so cute. When I go to weed this, I'll just weed out the dot to the eye to do the washi sheet setting, so I will select that. This is one of my favorite vinyls from Tech Wrap. It's chrome and it's bubble free. I just love it. This has a protective film on top, so I take that off and I add it to my mat and the Cricut will cut out my design. After that, I weed out my vinyl. I haven't mentioned it yet in this video, but I love my pin tool. I think I mention it in every single video, but for these little tiny pieces of the letters, it's amazing, especially with that little dot in the flower. It works so well. I grabbed transfer paper to pick up the flower and add it to spring. I feel like you can pick up the flower if you want to, but the transfer paper just makes it easier. Then I grab a bigger piece of transfer paper and add it to my design. I had my brayer tool sitting next to me, so I use that to press it down. Don't do that. It doesn't really work very well. For some reason, the scraper just adds it to it so much better. Then I spray the boot with rubbing alcohol and add my vinyl design. Here's what it looks like on my dining table. I think it is so pretty. I found the tulip flowers at the Target Bullseye section for $1. I think I need to add just a couple more, but I love it. Next, I bought this big stuffed animal Peep at Target. I think it's 17 inches long, so it's a really good size, and it was $15. I've seen people personalizing smaller ones too. I'm not sure if they're finding them at Five Below or TJ Maxx, but they are super cute as well. T Grove again for this spot, and I'm going to type in Quinn. My size, I'm going to do 4.5 inches for my width. It's going to be white vinyl. I honestly don't have to change the color, but I just get in the habit of doing it. I'll mirror my design. I'll choose Everyday Iron-On for my cut setting. I place my vinyl shiny side down, then the Cricut will cut it out and I will weed it. I'm using my Cricut Easy Press Mini and I set it to the medium setting. I preheat it for about 5 seconds, then I line up my vinyl design. Then I press it for 25 seconds. I use a constant motion and run over the design. I'm using Caesar Easy Weed, which is a warm peel, so I peel it off right away. I had some lines from the carrier sheet, so to easily fix that, just grab some water on a washcloth and rub it away. Here's how it turned out. It's so fun. I love the font that I chose, and I'm laughing because it's bigger than my kid's Easter basket. I found this adorable acrylic bunny cake stand at the Target Bullseye section, so I saw perfect opportunity to add vinyl to. I just love the Target Bullseye section. It's not always good, but look how pretty this is, and it has a cute little bunny on the top. For my cake stand, I measured the circumference of it and I made a guide that size. It was 19 inches for the width and about 3.5 inches for the height. Using guides for sizing is probably one of my favorite hacks or tips with Cricut. What I'm going to do with this Happy Easter is I am going to hide these checkered looking boxes, and I am going to have this be in the center. I'm going to highlight over both and just hit center. I might make it just a tiny bit smaller. I am going to come down and attach both of these together, and I'm just going to change the color to black so it separates it. I'm using a pattern vinyl for it, so I wasn't really sure what color to choose, so black was the easiest. Now I'm going to select on my Easter eggs and I am going to ungroup them. I thought these were super fun and colorful. I'm going to highlight over my 2 yellows, and I want to group those together because it'll be easier to size it. And I'll do the same thing for, I'll do the same thing for the other ones. I just want to group them together. This is also my favorite way to select items in Design Space, is just drag over it, and you can tell what you have selected by looking in the layers panel. I'll group those together. And now I can kind of move them around. Now I'm just going to size these inside my guide. I want to change a few of the colors. I want to make this one white. I'm just kind of looking at my vinyl sheets that I have, so that's what I'm going off of. I do have 2 blue color vinyl sheets, so I'll use those. I have green and white. Here, these are both yellow, so I am going to use orange for one of them. I'll select on the layer that I want to change the color and come up here and change it in here. For this one, it's 2 pinks, but I have a pink and a purple. I'll change one of these to purple. Okay, I think that looks good, so I'll hit make it. I'll select vinyl for my cut setting. Here I have the Cricut cutting out all the different colors. When that's done, I weed everything out. Use the parchment paper method to layer my Easter eggs, which is just the best hack ever. It makes it so easy. I did the blue egg and then realized I shouldn't have done that first because I want to do that last. So after this, I add vinyl to my Happy Easter. I add Happy Easter to my cake stand. I have all of my Easter eggs layered using that parchment paper hack. Now I'm ready to add all of them to the cake stand. Do you make any special desserts around Easter time? We don't really make anything special that I can think of. We do the typical like ham and casseroles around Easter, but I'll have to think of some yummy treats to add to this. Here's how it turned out. I just love the Easter eggs. I think it's so cute. For my last project, I'll be personalizing these carrot bubble ones. For my font for this one, I'm going to be using handwritten. Then I'll type in my kids' names again. I measured the height for this one to fit on the bubbles, and I'm going to do 1 inch for the height. A lot of times I like to use the font size to make them look the same, but I think I'm just going to adjust it a little bit, kind of eyeball it. Okay, that looks a little bit more uniform, so I'll click Make It. Then I'll select vinyl for my cut setting. Once again, I'll be using that same vinyl from the bundle. The Cricut will cut it out, then I will weed it and add it to my bubble wand. For some reason, I didn't have that many heat transfer vinyl projects. I think 1 out of all of these. Do you have one particular one that you like better? I feel like it's kind of what mood I'm in, so I must have been in the mood for adhesive vinyl projects. These turned out so fun. I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know what you thought, if you have any favorite projects, and I would also love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel. I have so many fun Cricut videos coming up.